Hello, I am Vanessa Miller, and Something Good is my 51st novel. And I'm going to be reading from this to introduce you to Trish, Marquita, and Alexis, the characters in this novel. And I'm going to tell you, it felt like these characters sat down next to me each day as I wrote this story, and they poured their hearts out to me. I'm Something good. I believe it will warm your heart. You will really feel touched as you read this story. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna get angry sometimes, and you're gonna just feel just overjoyed at other times. But let me tell you just a little bit about it. Now, Marquita, because she's grown up in poverty. Her and her family have been evicted. They've lived in women's shelters, and this is the life that she knows. And Trish lives in her and her family are middle class families, but how many of us know that in middle class you're just one tragedy away from losing it all? And that is what they discover after her son is in a car accident. He is actually in a car accident with Alexis, our third character in this novel. And Alexis is wealthy. She is, I say she is just a wonderful woman, but Alexis has a lot of secrets. Alexis feels like an imposter in her own home, and I would say, is the most complicated in this story. But I will tell you, Marquita was the most fun to write about, and you'll see just now, right now. Let me read you a little bit of here's Marquita's scene. So, these gluten-free, avocado toast eating, green smoothie drinking, bougie country folk got on Marquita Lewis's last nerve. Excuse me? Did you just roll your eyes? That Britney Spears song, Oops, I Did It Again, popped into Marquita's head. She wasn't trying to get fired from another job. She just got this waitress gig 6 weeks ago and had already been late 5 times. The last thing she needed was some bougie customer complaining about her because of some dumb breakfast order. And it wasn't really her fault anyway. She didn't roll her eyes to be rude. It was an involuntary condition brought on whenever she was in the vicinity of stupid. That's Marquita. And let me tell you, she will entertain you throughout this book. Now, let me introduce you to Trish. Pulling herself out of bed, Trish Robinson stretched to get the kink out of her neck and glanced over at her husband's snoring form. He used to give good massages, good hugs, good everything. That was before everything went left. Rolling her neck from side to side, she looped her fingers together to give her arms and back a stretch. Then took a long, deep, do I have to start this day already sigh. I will sing a fruitful song in a barren land. Every morning since the day her precious son was told he might never walk again, Trish sang those words to encourage herself to keep on fighting, keep getting out of bed every morning so she could see how God would turn her midnight into sweet, sunshiny days. Mama, I'm coming, John John. They lived in a ranch-style home with 9-foot-high ceilings, so sound traveled. Even though their master bedroom was on the opposite side of the house from John John's room, she heard him holler her name. John John rarely hollered for her first thing in the morning, but when he did, Trish knew what that meant. She rushed into the bathroom and grabbed a washcloth, towel, wet wipes, and Depends for her precious 21-year-old. Long, deep sigh. I will sing a fruitful song. Now that was Trish dealing with the fact that her son is now crippled from this accident, and there is a lot of family drama with that. So now I'm going to introduce you to Alexis. Look at what I brought you today. Alexis handed a jar containing the chocolate cookie crunch trifle to her mother as she sat in the recliner in front of her television. Alexis then sat down and the other recliner. A round table was between them. Vivian's eyes lit up. She took the spoon and dug in. I haven't had one of these in such a long time. Then a strange look spread across Vivian's face. She sat the dessert down on the table. I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, but I shouldn't have done it. Vivian started tapping her scrawny hand on the table. Thick green veins made pathways from her wrists to her fingers as if they were trying to find a way out of this place, just as her mother had tried to escape so many of the nursing homes she had been placed in. Alexis took her mother's hand in hers. You didn't do anything, Mom. I wanted to make dessert for Michael's business associates, and I remembered how you and I used to make this delicious dessert. Alexis turned the television on to watch westerns. Her mother loved old westerns. She could sit and watch Marshall Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty all day long. Vivian once told Alexis that Miss Kitty stole her job and was constantly stealing the scenes she had rehearsed. Alexis was just a kid when her mother started telling her stuff like that. She and her mother would be sitting in their small living room watching Gunsmoke, and Miss Kitty would stroll into the saloon saying one or two lines. Her mother's eyes would get big. She would jab her finger at the television. She's doing it again. She stole my lines again. Back then, Alexis had no idea that her mother suffered from delusions of grandeur. Alexis remembered being so mad at Miss Kitty. If it wasn't for Miss Kitty stealing her mother's lines all the time, they wouldn't have to move into so many trailer parks. They could be in a big fancy house like the one Alexis was sure Miss Kitty lived in. But at last, she grew up and realized that Miss Kitty had nothing to do with their lot in life. After that, she was able to enjoy watching these old westerns with her mother, but only when her mother was on her meds. Something good. I hope you will enjoy reading this story as much as I enjoyed writing it.